Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Framework for a Healthy After-School Program, CACFP Meal Requirements, and Healthy Eating in the Classroom. My name is Ligea Alexander, and I am the Food Program VISTA here at the Network for Youth Success, formerly known as After School Works New York and New York State After School Network. On our agenda today, I will begin by sharing some information about the New York State Network for Youth Success, followed by a brief review of the Child and Adult Care Food Program requirements and enrollment process. I will then move on to the theme of the webinar, opening the forum to discuss CACFP eligible healthy snacks and suppers, menu planning tips, crediting meals with CACFP, and reinforcing healthy eating in the after-school classroom. This webinar is part of a series, and our first webinar took place last week and included information on getting enrolled with guest presenters from the Department of Health and Hunger Solutions New York. If you missed it, you can watch the full recording and download the slides from our Child Nutrition webpage, which I will also provide the link to shortly. In our next webinar, we will be covering topics on maintaining CACFP paperwork, barriers to enrollment, and we'll also be seeking suggestions for further topics in the post-survey after this webinar. Please provide your input. So let's begin. Formerly known as After School Works New York and the New York State After School Network, we are the Network for Youth Success. Despite our name change, we continue to advocate to increase access to high-quality expanded learning programs, and we provide resources and programs to support high quality. We support many types of programs that foster youth success, including after-school and summer programs, community schools, and expanded learning time schools. Our mission is to strengthen the capacity and commitment of communities, programs, and professionals to increase access to high-quality programs and services beyond the traditional classroom. Here is a copy of our mission. We have 10 regional networks across the state and partners in New York City. Our advisory council is made up of our public partners, and our board members come from many of our partnering agencies. We provide program accreditation for after-school programs to increase program quality and publicly certify that quality. We also offer a credential for after-school professionals that meet the education requirements in the school-age child care regulations that can be used as professional development tools. Additionally, we offer membership for professionals across the state, providing access to numerous targeted resources and a discount on all annual statewide conferences. We are the state affiliate for the National After School Association, so members also become associate members with the NAA. Here's a list of our regional networks you can find across the state. You can find more information on them and how to get connected on our website. Child nutrition is an important initiative of the Network for Youth Success. We provide free resources on child nutrition and want to increase enrollment across the state in the Child and Adult Care Food Program, better known as CACFP, so that programs like yours can take advantage of reimbursements for serving healthy suppers and snacks. This not only provides an opportunity to make your program more sustainable through bringing in additional resources, but serving healthy meals and snacks is a component of a high-quality program. Furthermore, with the new school-age child care regulations through the Office of Children and Family Services, programs that serve snacks are required to meet the CACFP guidelines for those snacks anyway, so getting enrolled for reimbursement makes even more sense. So how can you get connected? You can visit our webpage to learn more about the services we provide, our regional networks, and the initiatives we support. You can also sign up for a listserv to receive our monthly newsletter, and you can follow us on social media at New York State Youth Success on Twitter, and like us on Facebook and follow us at Network Youth Success. Now I will move on to provide a brief review of the Child and Adult Care Food Program, or CACFP. The program is a federally funded nutrition assistance food program, which supports students and their families, after-school programs through reimbursement for eligible meals and/or snacks, provides programs with free program materials, technical assistance, and training opportunities, and access to a nutritionist for guidance in crediting meals and compliance. CACFP also helps to enhance the nutritional quality of meals and snacks offered, and this in turn benefits the program as it attracts children to the after-school program with improved nutritional quality. Children concentrate better during the program, and this also increases program participation. So what is required to enroll? To enroll in at-risk CACFP, and this is the form of the program in which snacks and suppers are reimbursed at the free and reduced price rate, programs have to be geographic or area eligible, which is when the program is in a low-income area served by a public school, in which 50% or more of the children enrolled are eligible for free and reduced price school meals. The program may be operated by a school, public, or private organization, and the after-school program operates during the school year, that is, through September to June, on a regular basis during non-school hours. After-school programs are not reimbursed during summer months, though. However, after-school programs are encouraged to enroll for the Summer Meals Food Program, SFSP, which provides reimbursement for summer meals. Here are the new reimbursement rates for fiscal year 2016 to 2017. Highlighted in red are the at-risk rates, which we can see for supper provides the highest reimbursement at $3.16, similar to the free rate, and for snacks, 86 cents, similar to the free rate. This is good to consider when thinking about whether to serve supper or snack or both. Also, an additional 23 cents is reimbursed for suppers claimed by after-school programs receiving cash in lieu commodities. This is where, in addition to cash reimbursement, the USDA makes donated agricultural foods or cash in lieu of donated foods available to after-school programs participating in CACFP. So what are the benefits of CACFP to your after-school students? The program provides many benefits for the children who are served. This is as program providers can receive reimbursement for children attending the program up until their 19th birthday, which also presents many benefits for teenagers by keeping them in the after-school program longer. After-school providers can also provide either snack, supper, or both at the free and reduced price rate. And this is applicable to programs which run on the weekends and school holidays too. For programs which operate on the weekends, providers have the opportunity to give snack as breakfast and supper around lunchtime, once the meals are provided within 2 hours of each other. CACFP is also compliant with what is required by the school-age child care with respect to meal components and meal regulations. In fact, in a case study conducted by the No Kid Hungry organization, Center for Best Practices, it was found that a school with 450 students that achieves 80% participation in the after-school meals program and serves suppers Monday through Friday during a typical school year would generate nearly 220,000 reimbursements and commodities over the course of the year. So what's next? To apply to CACFP and receive information about CACFP, contact the New York State Department of Health, CACFP Department, at the following address with the subject line Outreach Coordinator, or contact Ms. Mary Ellen Flynn, who has a wealth of knowledge in CACFP, and at the Outreach Unit at the following number. Now that we've gained, for programs that are in Yonkers, there is an option to receive transitional foods, so you don't have to wait until your paperwork is accepted for enrollment. Transitional foods are offered during the time while your enrollment paperwork is being processed. If you're in Yonkers, Stu Leonard does accept requests for donations and provides donations in the form of gift cards. For providers outside of Yonkers, and if Stu Leonard is not an option, you can ask your local groceries, the Farmers Market Association, and other superstores through their managers for options to receive donations while awaiting CACFP enrollment. Now that we've gained an understanding of the program and potential benefits for the children who are served, let's explore CACFP requirements in the context of meals served. After-school programs which operate in New York State are recommended to follow New York State CACFP meal regulations. This is because they were developed based on New York State best practices, and that entails having a 2-hour gap between meals when both supper and snack is served, that meals be eaten at the site with pairs, and that menus which are submitted along with other paperwork must specify that water or milk is served. Milk at supper and water at snack when no other beverage is provided. Here we have the Healthy Child Meal Pattern developed by the New York State Department of Health. The chart includes the age groups and minimum required serving size for each age group. Today, we'll be focusing on after-school providers working with ages 6 to 12 years. So if you're serving a snack, at minimum, providers would select 2 of the 4 components on the right and serve them at the required serving size. So if you served a vegetable and a grain, you would serve 3/4 cup total of vegetable for the ages 6 to 12 and 1 serving of grain for that age group. And if serving a supper, at minimum, providers will provide each child serving sizes according to the age group, but each component must be served. It is also important to note that though most after-school programs serve children in the age group of 6 to 12 years, programs which include children older than 12 years should reconsider the serving sizes of meals and snacks being served. These are minimum serving sizes, and you can serve more food to meet the needs of your participants. Providers should strive to meet the dietary and energy needs of the children they serve. Here are some additional guidelines to ensure meals meet CACFP standards and provide more clarity when planning meals. When serving a grains and breads, sweet grain products, and sweet cereals should be reserved as snack only, and no more than 2 servings of sweet grain and/or sweet cereals should be served per week. It is recommended that all breads and cereals served should be whole grain, and a whole grain product is one in which the first ingredient listed is whole grain, not enriched. For meat and meat alternatives, yogurt can be used as a meat alternative, but it must be fat-free or low-fat and prepared without artificial sweeteners. It is recommended for meat and meat alternatives that they must be lean or low-fat and must be prepared without any added fat. For milk, it is required that only unflavored milk for children ages 1 to 5 years, and it is recommended that only unflavored fat-free or skim or low-fat or 1% milk be provided to school-aged children. For vegetables and fruits, no more than 1 serving of 100% juice should be served per day, and vegetables and fruits should be fresh, frozen, or canned, and prepared with no added sugar, salt, or fat. It's important to note, once again, that water must be served along with each snack if neither of the 2 required components is a beverage. Water is not counted as a component, and it must be specified on menus when served. Now we can get into menu planning and things to consider for implementation. I'll be going through the following subheadings: budget, food safety, variety, compliance, and consumer. When it comes to your budget, program providers should consider sponsorship options to maximize reimbursement while managing the costs and responsibility. Providers operating inside of a school are encouraged to use their school nutrition department's existing meal sponsor, who can handle the administration so that you can focus on meals. Programs can designate a maximum of 15% of the reimbursement to cover administrative costs. Or if the program operates outside of a school, providers should factor in staff and volunteers required for food preparation. In the pre-survey questions, a few of our registered providers noted that they would like to know how to order supper and snacks that are CACFP creditable. One option would be to present your food vendor a list of the required components in the Healthy Child meal pattern, along with a suggested menu. This way, you and your food vendor can be on the same page. Providers should also consider the number of participating students, and this can easily be found from the previous week's weekly meal count. It is also useful to consider where you will source your produce if you're working outside of a kitchen. Are you planning for special events or holidays? Are you planning to source fresh ingredients for fruits and vegetables? Which is great, but if you don't have access to a refrigerator and the program operates daily, you'd have to purchase these food items daily. So that's something to consider. When planning menus, it is also useful to keep the reimbursement rates on hand. You want each meal to fall within the reimbursement cost per meal. Let's say you plan to serve yogurt parfait for snack, which at minimum constitutes fat-free yogurt, mixed berries, and granola. How many servings does a large container of yogurt provide? And when calculated, what is the cost per serving? Divide the final cost by the number of servings to obtain the cost per meal. Providers should also consider food safety. What type of storage equipment would be needed? Will the meals be prepared on site? And what measures need to be taken to ensure foods are served in a safe way? Providers should also consider introducing variety in the meals they serve. CACFP aims to increase the nutritional quality of meals served. When speaking about nutritional quality, providers should consider including variety in those meals. Serving fresh fruits and vegetables are best, eating colors of the rainbow, and ensuring that foods have a healthy balance of both macro and micronutrients is also recommended. In particular, the amounts of sodium, sugars, and trans fats in meals served should be paid attention to. When using canned goods, aim for products without added salt and sugars. Program providers then, of course, need to consider if their meals are compliant. By compliance, we mean, are all 5 components served? Is the milk served fat-free or 1%? Is the water provided at snack if no other beverage is served? And lastly, providers should consider their consumers, your students. What is the age group of the children being served? Which translates to what are the necessary serving sizes? Who are you serving? To reduce food wastage, it would be good to consider the population dynamic of students served. An after-school program of mostly Hispanic and South American students should try to provide healthy meals which resemble foods these children are used to. Maybe having 1 cultural meal per week. This also introduces the opportunity to use food to educate about different cultures. Holidays and seasonal events are a great opportunity to show that holidays can be celebrated with healthy foods. CACFP has also introduced their offer versus serve option, which allows programs to offer all the meal components, but students are not required to take all of the items. This can lower plate wastage and food costs. Offer versus serve cannot be used for snacks. This brings us to a more interactive portion of the webinar. To participate in the activities, you can unmute yourself now or send your answers to the chat box. So to recap, for a meal to be creditable with CACFP, a few things to consider are if providers plan to serve supper or snack, the required food components differ for a snack and supper, so these are things to consider when creating and logging meals. What is the age groups of the students being served? What are the required components? To recap, a supper meal contains all 5 components and contains an 8-ounce milk, 2-ounce meat or meat alternative, 3/4 cup total of fruit and or vegetable, and 1/2 cup grain. Snack is 2 of 4 components, either half 8-ounce milk, 3/4 cup fruit and or vegetable, 1 ounce meat or meat alternative, and half cup grain or 1 slice of bread. These can also be found in the CACFP Crediting Foods Handbook, and it is recommended that New York State after-school programs use the Crediting Foods Handbook provided by the New York State Department of Health, which differs from the USDA handbook used in other states. Here's an example of a supper meal. However, as we see here, not all required components are favored. Milk has been provided, although fat-free or 1% milk must be served to meet CACFP requirements. And here we have an example of a snack, which once there are no nut and seed allergies in your program, can simply be a slice of whole grain bread, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and banana. CACFP requires at minimum 2 out of 4 components to credit a snack. However, milk has been provided, 1% milk. This is a perfect example of meeting the minimum requirement, but aiming to meet the energy needs of the children in the program. Now this brings us to our activity. In Activity 1, which of the following meals is a CACFP creditable supper? Please feel free to enter your answers in the chat box. Oh, we seem to be having a lot of answers coming in, and a lot of correct answers too. Yep, the answer is C. In option A, all 4 out of the 5 components are favored. It is recommended that 100% juice be served at once per day and at snack. In option B, the fruit that is offered is in a syrup liquid solution, and that is not considered CACFP creditable. Fruits and vegetables should be served with no added sugars. In option D, at least only 2, or actually only 1 of those, well, 2 of those components are favored, and 5 must be provided. So option C is correct. Also, it's important to note that pinto beans in option C is considered a meat alternative. In Activity 2, which of these is a CACFP creditable snack? Yes. The answer is C once again. In option A and B, these, although they both provide 2 of the four components, water should be provided when no other beverage is served. Also, and in option D, jelly or jam is not considered a CACFP creditable. Is not CACFP creditable. So yes, option C is correct. Now I would like to provide a few sample menus of what a week of meals may look like. So the top part of the menu provides hot meals, which can be used by programs with access to a full kitchen, and the cold menu might be used for a program without kitchen access. As you can see, highlighted in red, I've highlighted recipes that include peanut butter, but this can be easily substituted with soy nut butter or a non-nut butter. Next, we have a sample snack menu for a week in an after-school program. Once again, peanut allergy should be noted and can be substituted with soy and non-nut butters. Nonetheless, the menu does provide plenty of room for variety even while staying within CACFP guidelines. Now that we've covered healthy eating, let's explore how we can continue to teach about healthy eating through educational and enrichment activity. Nutrition education as an enrichment component provides many benefits for an after-school program. It reinforces the importance of healthy eating and can be implemented as a STEM activity. For example, photosynthesis activities, exploring the parts of the plant, and activities like those provided by the University of Maryland Growing Healthy Habits, which provides a free curriculum on their website. Nutrition education also educates students on sustainability, food agriculture, and food issues. For example, the Grow to Learn in New York City and USDA's Dig In, which all provides opportunity to explore different cultures through food and experience in gardening. Nutrition education also connects students with their local community, and parents can become more involved and bring local communities together. Here are a few examples of nutrition education curriculums which are available for free online. Several universities and organizations tend to offer piloted curriculums for free on their website. These can also be accessed through the SnapEd library. So while we're on the topic of healthy eating, I wanted to take some time to discuss physical activity and the healthy eating and physical activity or HEPA standards. It is important to note that at least 30 minutes of after-school program time should be designated to physical activity. These activities should also be engaging, fun, and recreational, and should be inclusive of children with varying abilities. The healthy eating and physical activity standards were developed and implemented in the hopes of building a healthy future for our nation's children by creating environments rich in opportunities for healthy eating and physical activity. This includes all training on healthy eating is comprehensive, evidence-based, does not support a particular industry or food sector agenda, and delivered by qualified personnel. Play should take place outdoors whenever possible, and it's important to ensure that daily physical activity time includes aerobic and age-appropriate muscle and bone strengthening and cardiorespiratory fitness activities. Here are a few resources to the nutrition education curriculums mentioned during the webinar that can be used in your after-school programs. And here are resources to our Child Nutrition Initiative page, and the New York State Department of Health developed materials for crediting foods in CACFP and the Healthy Child Meal Pattern, as well as a link to our CACFP frequently asked questions and Share Our Strengths 3 Meals a Day Executive Summary, which provides after-school programs with resources for accessing school vendors and sourcing school vendors. Now I would like to open it up the conversation for questions and answers. Please type any questions you have for me in the chat box, or simply unmute yourself and join in the conversation. Okay, we have a couple questions. So question 1, many of these samples include peanut butter, but we have a nut-free program. What are some alternatives we could use? That's a great question, a very important one. Programs can also use soy nut butter or sunflower butter, but soy nut butter is a good option and it tastes just the same. I use it. Another question. When is the administrative review process? Oh, CACFP conducts administrative reviews every 3 years. You're welcome. Another question, how long does it take to get enrolled from when you apply? That's a very important question. Once the program is responsive to CACFP during the enrollment process, it should take only 30 days or 1 month to be enrolled. And also, just to recap, during that wait for enrollment, you can also source transitional foods. And if you're in Yonkers, grocery stores like Stu Leonard's is accepting requests for these donations, which they provide through gift cards. Another question. I have been looking at getting enrolled, but have heard there is a large time commitment for the paperwork that must be submitted monthly. How much time does it really take? Do you have any tips for getting it done efficiently? Thank you for asking this question. I actually will be holding another webinar in the webinar series. We'll be covering maintaining paperwork, so stay tuned for that update. At the moment, though, I'm not exactly sure. Another question. If I want to serve more than just the minimum portion, is there a specific portion I need to meet? For example, could I serve twice the fruit if I just serve the minimum for the other components? Or do I have to serve twice the amount of each component? Well, once the minimum amount of each component, so if it's a snack, once you're serving 2 out of 4 at the serving size for that age group, you don't have to exceed in other components, but once your favorite 2 out of 4 components. And for supper, once you must serve each of the 5 components, and once you serve the required serving size for the age group, you don't have to exceed or provide more for any other component. Okay. Just going to wait 1 more minute for any other questions that are coming through. Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for joining me for this webinar. And the webinar slides and recording will be, and supplementary material will be provided in a follow-up email to all participants. Thank you. Bye.